It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to an episode of Locked On Buckeyes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Wednesday, April 21st in the year 2021. And we got some expected but also unexpected snow in the Midwest. Woke up on Wednesday morning and I'm like, what is this stuff outside? But that's just going to remind us of what's to come in the future. Like the Buckeyes, good things coming in the fall. Like the weather, good things coming very, very soon. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at JSteven07. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter as well at Locked On Buckeye. Lineup for today in segments 2 and 3. We will continue our talk about possible changes on defense. This week, it's all about how they may affect recruiting. We'll begin today's show talking about a former Buckeye who just got nominated for a sports Emmy. As you guys have heard, I'm a big listener and I do enjoy the Dan Patrick Show on Monday, Tuesday, any day, week, in the morning from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. I got the Peacock app. I can watch it on there for free. So it's an amazing thing, an amazing way for me to watch and to start my day as a sports fan. Also, you can catch it via Fox Sports Radio. I check it out on Fox Sports Radio via the iHeartRadio app on SiriusXM Fox Sports Radio. They do air Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. But one thing that Dan Patrick and the Danettes always say is that they've been nominated for sports Emmys. They have yet to win one. I am amazed and surprised they have not won one yet. When you look at who they are running up against this year, it's some tough competition. So I do get it, but their show, very unique. You got the Rich Eisen show, Pat McAfee show. All of those kind of go back to what Dan Patrick did, and even then, you can go back to Howard Stern earlier than that. Different genre, different topic, but all those shows kind of have the same type of feel. A host, and then people around them, different roles to help the show be exactly what it is. Well, a former Ohio State football player, played under Urban Meyer, Joshau Perry. He was on the sidelines during the spring game, working for the Big Ten Network, doing sideline reporting. Now, most of the talking conversation came between Brandon Gaudin and James Laurinaitis up in the booth. But Joshau Perry down on the sidelines did a phenomenal job. In my head, I want to say Josh. I like one syllable or shorter names, but he does go by Joshua. And I believe in his Twitter bio, he does say it's Joshua, not Josh. Joshau Perry is up for the Sports Emmy. He's nominated for Emerging On-Air Talent. And this competition is very, very tough. You have Emmanuel Acho, who was, I believe, at ESPN, but he's now at Fox Sports and FS1. He is a co-host of Speak for Yourself. Him and Marcellus Wiley do a great job with that show. You also have Malika Andrews of ESPN. Joe Davis, I believe he does play-by-play for the Dodgers. His exact title and job description escapes me right now. It's not here in the tweet. Then you have Andrew Hawkins of NFL Network. That name does not ring a bell to me. Then you have Joshua Perry from the Big Ten Network. Two things I have seen Joshua Perry do and excel at and do a very good job at in his young broadcasting career, the sideline reporting, which is not that easy at all. I have not done it, but I have seen people that have done sideline reporting and people that have talked about sideline reporting. That job is not that easy. I hear women do a lot of the interviews about describing what it's like on a regular basis being a sideline reporter, especially during the Rona season. It's not easy at all. During a regular non-COVID or non-Rona season, it's not easy. But the Rona made it a whole lot harder. Joshua Perry, knowing how Ohio State is, he has an inroad there. He knows how the program was ran. Things are different now under Ryan Day. But he still had to get information, conduct interviews, get his question out quickly, get his question out in a way that would not be a lot of uhs or likes or all those filler words that come out when you're a little bit nervous. Get your question out, quick answer. Question 2, quick answer. Send it back upstairs to the booth. Not easy at all. And he does it in a clear, concise way every single time. Then also, he was doing the studio work. No, he was actually on the field during the first Ohio State Pro Day. But I have actually watched Joshau Perry when he's been doing studio work. Difficult. Very difficult. As a guy like myself, as you guys have learned, Jay is long-winded. When you have 30 to 40 seconds to get an answer, send it back. Get a question in, quickly understand and process what is being said to you, and then send that thing back over to the host or the next person that is up in line to comment. It's not easy. And he is young, he's emerging, and he's climbing the ladder. Now, I don't know what Joshua Perry's end game is or what his goals are as far as broadcasting, but from the studio work, the work he did during the pro day, all this stuff is 2021 recent. This isn't back a couple years ago. This is stuff that's emerging and that he has been doing for quite a long time. Very impressed with not only Joshua Perry, but also James Laurinaitis. You got, oh my gosh, Bobby Carpenter. Not so much mainstream national stuff, but he also does he hosts radio there in Columbus, and also there's Dustin Fox as well, who calls games. A lot of Buckeyes are in broadcasting. It's nice to see them. Maybe the most important one, or the one that everyone knows very well, is Kirk Herbstreit. When I say that name, many of you turn him off or don't like him or knock him and say, no, he's not a true Buckeye. He doesn't really give us the credit we deserve. Remember, he's being paid to do his job, which is to be unbiased. It's very hard to be unbiased when you're in a world where a lot of people are biased and they expect you to be biased. From Kirk to Joshua Perry to Fox to Carpenter to Laurinaitis, even to AJ Hawk, who does stuff with the Pat McAfee show on a regular basis. Very, very nice and enjoyable to see what Buckeyes are doing in this broadcasting space. Let's step away very quickly. When we come back, we'll continue our talk about possible changes on defense. Today's conversation, take us the rest of the space of this show, is all about how it affects recruiting. But first, check this out. There's a good chance you may be a person like me that loves a good protein bar. You know, the one that fits your macros and hits your diet and your meal plan just right and tastes like a candy bar as well. Well, guys, I have ended my search, and I thoroughly encourage you to end yours as well, because Built Bar is great for the health-conscious guy to help you lose and maintain weight while indulging in a delicious treat. Bars are low-calorie, low-sugar, high-protein, high-fiber, and they're great for the keto diet. And one unique detail about every Built Bar is that it is covered in 100% chocolate. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order. Once again, go to BuiltBar.com, and when you do, use promo code LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order at BuiltBar.com. This year, the Locked On Podcast Network is partnering with the Draft Network to cover the NFL Draft live. Get insight and analysis from Locked On local experts and the Draft Network's national experts. Subscribe to the Locked On NFL YouTube page to watch live 3-day coverage of the NFL Draft, April 29th through May the 1st. If this is your first time listening or watching Locked On Buckeyes, I want to say welcome. Or if it's your first time in a long time watching or listening to the podcast, I want to say welcome back. And if you haven't heard, Locked On Buckeyes is on YouTube, along with the regular audio platforms that you can listen to Locked On Buckeyes every single day. The Odyssey app, which is free, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, even iHeartRadio. There's also a YouTube page dedicated and solely for every video that is produced for Locked On Buckeyes on a daily basis, including if there's any bonus episodes, there will be a video for that as well. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Buckeyes, hit that subscribe button. You will get alerted every time a video is uploaded. And make sure you check us out and share it with your family, your friends, and maybe that guy that's a Buckeye fan that you really can't stand. Share it with him as well. Let everybody know Locked On Buckeyes is the place to be to stay up to date with your Ohio State Buckeyes every Monday through Friday. When you're thinking about change or changes or anything involved with altering the current operation on a football team, especially in college, recruiting is key. It's huge. Recruiting is something that dominates conversations, and it is something that if it's done wrong, or if anything, if you make one slight mistake, it could be a trickle-down effect, or it could lead you down a long, steep slope that will cause you to have to climb back up that slope to try to get back to where you want to be. And in Ohio State, the possibility or what looks like will be the change on defense going from a 4-3 to a 4-2-5 or a variation of such. There are a lot of things that go into it. The scheme, the differences, what it is that a 4-2-5 is, what a 4-3 is. Does it make sense that in 2021, Ohio State changed their defense? Is it something that should have been done years ago? All of those things go into it, but also the recruiting aspect. Those of you that have been around here for a few weeks now, if you have not, go back and check this out. We have talked about recruiting in the transfer portal via college basketball, Ohio State basketball. Chris Holtman's task on trying to provide and build the proper roster for Ohio State to be successful during this year's college basketball season, or next year's basketball season, and next year's NC2A tournament. Well, in football, it's no different. It's just you are guaranteed to have your players, the younger ones, a lot longer than in college basketball. And in college basketball, you guys can leave whenever they want to. And in basketball, the makeup of basketball players is different than football players. Not trying to knock anything. It's different. They a lot of them, as you see, they are moving around a lot more than football players. Well, it's interesting to think about how this might affect recruiting for Ohio State. The youngsters, not the transfer portal, but the youngsters. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you're a junior in high school, outside linebacker. You're an outside linebacker that is a 4-3 outside linebacker. Your ability to adjust and go into a hybrid, you're not there right at that point in time in your career, and your ability to be, say, the weak side, but you're still inside the box. That might be you, but you're more the outside end, outside the tackle side, off of the tackle instead of inside the end, inside the tackle for the 4-2-5 set. Interesting detail that this came up, because that's going to happen a lot. If this change goes through, and if this is something that going to progress down the road, 2, 3, 4 will be, unfortunately, that's going to be a big deal. Not be as big of a detail as you may think. Why? Because a lot of high schools alter their defense because a lot of now going 4 wide, 2 wide, you got a 2x2 set with one back in the backfield, split either right side or left side in the shotgun of the quarterback, no tight ends or 10 personnel. Remember, talking about personnel now. Running back is the first number of running backs on the field. That's running back and fullback. And then the second number, the 0, how many tight ends are on the field. We said Ohio State normally, we talk about the offense, normally runs it has run a lot of 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight end sets. Now I would think it would be more of an 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end set. Primarily, you'll see a lot of 12 personnel with Ohio State, rarely 22 or 21. Ohio State, I don't think you're going to see you won't see a fullback, and if you do see a running back, it won't be that two in the backfield. You may get 1 in the back, 1 split out wide, so you don't know what's being thrown at you. but via the recruiting for a youngster. You're a youngster, you're a junior in high school. Ohio State has been your school. You're an outside linebacker. You're not a guy that plays both ways. And a lot of youngsters nowadays don't play both ways into their junior and senior year. And now you're put with a tough task. Do you go through the growing pains of altering and being maybe, hey, Ryan Day or Coach Coombs or Al Washington? Hey, I got you. I got a spot for you. Now, I know you've been outside linebacker your whole entire career in high school. I know we had recruited you to be an outside linebacker, but we're altering things right now for you to go from being your typical outside linebacker to be that hybrid. What is a hybrid, coach? What does that mean? You're going to be a little LB, a little safety, a little DB, and a little linebacker. You're going to be out deep a little bit in the back half. You may be splitting the field with the safety, or you might be linebacker depth, or you might be walked up on the line. Whoa, on the line. I don't want to deal with those big hog mollies, but here's the thing. Here's the thing for you. You're quicker than them. You're faster than them. You're not going to be as strong as them, but you're more elusive than them. You can move one way or the other way, and you know what? They're going to have a hard time figuring out how to guard you. Whoa. See, it's going to be more at my advantage to be able to be this hybrid position, the LB and the safety. Absolutely. Currently standing, will it affect me at high school? Not really. You can do whatever your high school coach says, but down the road, buddy, look. We have been discussing this. We have been talking about this for quite a long time. And we believe that you are the reason. You are the right person for the job to allow us to take Ohio State's defense that last year pass coverage wasn't the best, wasn't good at all. Honestly, I'm trying to say, not worse than the Big Ten. I'm trying to be delicate. It was atrocious. It was bad. Now, one thing that's going to help you this year, I don't know why I'm going into this conversation right now, with the defense is why as far as pass coverage, I do believe that Ohio State will have a better pass rush this year, which will aid the DBs, the corners, and the safeties and LBs in coverage. When you have a lackluster or a poor pass rush, it really hinders how effective the DBs and the pass coverage can be. As much as you want to say it was Wade, it was Banks, it was everybody else in the secondary, when you don't have a pass rush, that's just as bad as having bad guys back there in the second half. Or mediocre or average or above average. If you have above average coverage guys in the secondary, but you ain't got a pass rush, those guys are having to guard and defend the receiver a whole lot longer than expected. And it's not ideal for long-term success. We're going to continue this conversation when we come back and continue the hybrid recruiting aspect of changing your defense. But first, check this out. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are in full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV. Real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bets, and guys, it's even free to sign up. Head to betonline.ag on your computer or mobile device. And when you sign up today, make sure you use promo code LOCKEDON, that's LOCKEDON, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Once again, go to betonline.ag on your computer or mobile device. And when you sign up today, make sure you use promo code LOCKEDON and receive your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, your online sports book experts. The Ultimate Mock Draft 2021, presented by Locked On and Odyssey, is happening now. Featuring analysis from NFL experts Michael Irvin, Jason LaCanfora, and Brian Baldinger. Our local experts for every team making trades and picking the next stars of their team. Search the Ultimate Mock Draft 2021 on the new Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. Odyssey is your audio home for all the sports, podcast, music, and news that matter to you. That's AUDACY. And as we wrap up today's episode here on Locked on Buckeyes, I want to give you a little sneak peek into something that's going to happen next week. Next, I believe Tuesday, Ryan Roberts, NFL draft analyst, will be with us going over the Buckeyes that'll be in the draft coming up next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Justin Fields, Baron Browning, Pete Werner, Trey Sermon, Wyatt Davis, Josh Myers, even going to guys like Luke Farrell and Tuff Borland. We're going to try and touch on every single prospect, and that should be on next Tuesday. Ryan is the only draft analyst I have had on any podcast that I do or any show that I have been on and I host. And I do a lot of talking into a microphone. That's how much and that's how highly I think of Ryan and the work and analysis that he provides for these NFL draft prospects. The hybrid position is something that's been around for football for a very long time. Very, very nice and encouraging to see the possibility of Ohio State having a version of that on the field this year. In recruiting initially for Ohio State, it will not hurt or hinder or affect Ohio State like it affects most teams. That one of the main reasons for that is because Ohio State already recruits top talent every single day, every single year. So the aspect and the effect of them recruiting a guy that can't be molded or can't be altered or can't be matured or can't change positions, that's not something that they normally do. We've heard rumblings of Still Chambers moving from running back. Well, I don't know. Ryan Days out of Washington doesn't know where that rumor came from. I don't know where the rumor came from, which is something that trickled down to me. But what people have heard, Still Chambers going from running back to linebacker. Okay, is it possible? Absolutely. We have heard people say the same thing about, let's see here. You got Jack Sawyer, who I do believe Jack Sawyer, you'll see some inside and outside the rushman package. When you see his bull rush that he had on the outside against a tackle, now I understand at times during the spring game, he was not going up against starters. He was going up against backups due to injuries and just people not playing in the spring game. But keep that in mind. Because a lot of Ohio State's defensive linemen, especially defensive ends, they do in the rushman package play inside and outside. A recruit that Ohio State is pinpointing a local kid out of Indiana, out of Greenwood, Indiana, Center Grove High School, 4-star defensive end recruit, Caden Curry. Just released his top 12, and of course, not trying to seem like it's a foregone conclusion, but it kind of was expected that Ohio State would be in his top 12. Last year, I went out to watch Caden Curry. They played the Cathedral Fighting Irish, one of the top teams, not just in the state of Indiana, but also one of the top teams in the country as well. And last year, I saw Caden Curry play once. And I was very interested to see, I know he was recruited as a defensive end, but at that same time in that game, he was playing nose tackle. He had played nose tackle all year long, and Coach Moore had said, hey, I need you to go inside. I know you're being recruited. I know one of your best positions is outside defensive end, but we need you inside to help this team be very successful to the tune they did go on to win the state championship last year. Caden Curry in the final seconds, or one of the final plays last year in that phenomenal matchup. You had national analysts from 24/7 Sports on the sidelines during that game, and it was very, very cold during that game as well. Caden Curry did get a sack, 2-point stands, split the center and the guard. He was too quick for them, and he got a sack. Game over. So you're going to get some defensive ends, some defensive linemen that can play inside and outside. It's nice when they do it in high school. But one thing you know about the linebacker position at Ohio State, Kevon Pope, you're going to get Craig Young. You're going to get some of these guys. I don't know why I said Kevon Pope first. It should have been Craig Young, but you understand. You're going to get some of these guys that are moldable, that are changeable. Especially at a young age, you're going to start to properly build the muscle up in your body and to see how the muscle is going to form, how you're going to get quicker, how you're going to be able to read things a whole lot better. Same thing we talk about with quarterbacks. Pre-snap read, post-snap verification. If what you see pre-snap is not verified, how is what happens post-snap affect what you saw pre-snap? Little play on words there, but it's a lot of interchanging and small details that happen in pre-snap that affect what happens post-snap. Linebackers altering them. A lot of outside linebackers can play that hybrid role, especially those at Ohio State. Some are more inside the box, and that's doable. That makes sense. But you do have those guys that can play outside. Via recruiting, this might put a lot more interest to some recruits that hadn't had an interest in Ohio State previously because they play that hybrid position. They're used to playing outside and inside the box, and they don't want to be stuck inside the box all game long. Ohio State went from a 4-2-5 to a 4-3. I think it's a needed change. I think it should have had it happen years ago, and it's very, very exciting to see the possibility of this change happening at the Ohio State University. Guys, this has been fun, a lot of fun. 2 days left in the week, a Thursday and Friday. Friday, you have Jay's weekly rant. I know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. It's been on my mind all week, but I've left it for the final day of the week. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can send all of your emails to jstevens317 at gmail.com. If you're a person that would like to correspond with me and ask me questions, my DMs are open on Twitter. Tweet at me. I'll reply right back at you. You ask me a question publicly, I'll reply publicly right to you. 2 days left, Thursday, Friday. In the meantime, after you get done listening to this episode or while you're listening to this episode, fill the review section on Apple with 5-star reviews. You guys have done a phenomenal job. And I want to say thank you once again for how many people have helped the show grow and the amount of downloads we have had this month over last month. You can say, Jay, it's a football thing. I understand it. But if you look and see what I see, normally I don't check this stuff all the time, but if you look and see what I see this month versus last month, it's a testament to you. Gotta give you guys a hand clap. Gotta give you a hand clap. You deserve it. You deserve the hand clap. You deserve a credit for all the hard work and for helping the show grow. And also, stick around. Got some good stuff coming for the rest of the week. Locked on Buckeyes, Thursday and Friday. What we talk about, stick around, come back tomorrow and Friday to find